Post-Christmas party moves to Happy Valley on a Wednesday night as the city circuit hosts the final meeting of the calendar year. A very warm welcome to Racing Twin. I'm Andrew Lejeune. Good to have your company, a one-stop shop for Hong Kong race. I'm joined here in the studio by Brett Davis, our race caller, and John Blance, our race caller. John, no feature race as such, but we finished the card with a really good Class 2. Yeah, we do. As often at Happy Valley, they save the best for last, and really looking forward to what should be a very good race. California Whip, interesting up in trip, and the race prior to that as well, the 7th, looks pretty good too. So, yeah, looking forward to it. You're Paul Lally today.
Hello, over there. Yes, I am.
So, jackpots, two big ones.
There are, yes, Andrew. A couple of big jackpots for a Bollywood theme there at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. So get into the groove. And 2.6 in the triple trio, 2.4 in the six-up. So plenty of free money, as Paul likes to say, floating around. Get involved in the exotics.
Yeah, and one really interesting first starter with some decent European form, John, Insatiable.
Yeah, it was a pretty good effort. I think he was third, wasn't he, in the Leopardstown Derby trial, and some pretty good form around that as well. My slight concern about him is his least effective barrier trial was at Happy Valley, but we'll see how he goes.
All right, it all comes a little bit later on. Before we get into the Happy Valley programme, let's look back on Sha-Tin firsts at the weekend with our racing review. So the Griffin Trophy was our feature race, and Sparkling Dragon carried all before him so far. He's unbeaten in 2 starts, including beating Win Beauty Win last time out, but he turned things around in emphatic fashion.
That he did, yes. This was a polished performance, wasn't it? And the blinkers, I think, made a huge difference. They improved the horse by a couple of lengths. He was very much focused. When you look at the front on, you can see he's got the ears back at this point, whereas previously he was sort of floating around a little bit mentally, I think. But here he's really racing, isn't he? It's what you want to see from a young horse. The blinkers really switched him on, John. You would have been quite impressed watching that from the 8th floor.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good effort. As you said, he's definitely improved from what he's done up to that. I thought the 2nd and 3rd didn't run too badly either. And the way the race was run, the horse in 4th there, Smart Charade, ran quite well too. So, yeah, I think there's a bit to take out of this year's Griffin Trophy, as there often is.
All right, and big dreams for Paul O'Sullivan and the Beauty team. There's already, I saw one mention of Derby 2019. That is a long way off, though, of course, at this point. Good day for Zach Purton as well. 3 winners on the
Yeah, it was. Paul will be really excited about what he saw there, I think, in the Griffin Trophy. We've spoken about previous horses that have won it. Pakistan Star, of course, and Luger, who did win a Derby. The more I watch that replay, the more I would be excited about the winner, because there wasn't a lot between he and Sparkling Dragon the start before, and he's put 2-3 lengths on him this time with those blinkers going on. So who knows, if he continues to improve, it'll be very interesting to see how far he goes.
All right, as I mentioned, Zach Purton had a very good afternoon, including the still unbeaten Hot King Prawn.
It's interesting, John Size made the point on Racing to Win that sometimes horses here in Hong Kong can almost improve too quickly and they end up racing against pretty high-quality opposition too soon in their career. Well, that was a possibility here with Hot King Prawn, and Pavlovsky gave him something to think about, as indeed did Water Diviner late on, and he wasn't quite as spectacular as he has been, but it was still a very good performance, and the handicapper still seen fit to put him up 9 ratings points. So.
Yeah, the margin wasn't as great as it was the start before, was it? So, obviously, you know, with the stronger competition, we're starting to see things sort of level up a little bit, but still remains unbeaten. We'll have to wait and see what John decides to do. He is a very patient man, as we know. He's still a young horse, but there is a very, very good race where he looks well placed coming up shortly. He's going to have to touch sort of, you know, Class 1, Group 3 at some stage. Would it be better to do it now while he's fully going through his preparation, or have a break and come back and take them on first up? It's a question that they'll obviously be chatting about with the owner and trainer and jockey and so forth, but if he was mine, I'd be having a go at the Bohemia Sprint. I think it's a perfect race for him.
All right, and Jenny mentioned when she's doing a paddock report as well, she thought as a 3-year-old, and he is only a 3-year-old, that he's still 6 months away, which he would be from fully maturity.
That's right, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, he's still unbeaten, so there's always that question about, you know, do they want to get him beat, so to speak?
How far can they go?
Yeah.
So he got 9 points. Hot King Prawn. Exultant was another good winner on the programme. Again, talking of derbies, he got 9 as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, it was a fantastic performance. He was sort of camped out wide as well, wasn't he, around that turn? And it didn't look ideal for him, but then suddenly, as good horses do, quickly turn things around, and he was 2 lengths clear in the twinkling of an eye.
There were a lot of good horses in that race, But the turn of acceleration that he showed Exultant is one of those key attributes that can be the difference between being a really good horse and a really, really good horse.
Yeah, and another one, by the way, that really jumped out the ground for me was Namjong Plus. He went from sort of 7th or 8th to being very close to the action. Again, very quickly. It was a really taking performance.
In that Exultant race as well, Consort ran a mighty race. I did see it. I can't remember who tweeted it, but said it looked like Wile Coyote strapped to the back of a rocket in Thunder against Roadrunner. It was incredible.
Well, if you hear my race call, I'm almost more surprised that Consort got second, actually, than Exultant won.
It's good to see, Andrew, because they paid a lot of money for him, and he's been completely disappointing since he's been here, and he's been here for a while now. So some encouragement from that, I would have thought.
His 2 best runs over the 2,000 metres. He doesn't feature in our horses to follow, but let's find out who does. All right, Brett, I think there's a few to choose from, isn't there, from the weekend? What did you go with?
There were. I'm going to go with a horse from one of the dirt races, Let Us Win. Now, obviously, Sunny Win was rolling on the lead, and Let Us Win was being hard-ridden at the back there, but I just like the way he closed off. He's had quite a few runs back this prep. He hung out a little bit there, and it took a little bit of time to wind up. It hasn't been easy to make ground on the dirt, you know, generally this season, but just look at this effort here, getting through late. Had to change course a little bit there under the guidance of Tommy Berry, but gee, hit the line well. He's probably a bit unlucky not to snare the Q spot, I reckon. Signs of a horse coming right for me.
And if Paul was here, he could bask in the glory of Sunny Win's win as well. But he's not.
I'm sure he's still spending the money.
So we'll move on. John, what did you find?
I went for Ever Brave, Andrew. I think he's on only his 2nd run in Hong Kong. I thought this was a very good performance, given this was a real on-speed race. They went fairly slowly in the early stages. The first, or 3 of the first 4 around the home turn were in the first 3. This fellow, though, he was taken back early on. He had to be, he had an awkward draw, but he's finished the race off really well. He's a big lad as well, 1,236 pounds of him. And he actually put on weight from race 1 to race 2, but he was staying on, as I say, in a race that wasn't really suiting the back markers. I thought it was a very good performance. I think he'll be winning before not too long.
Yeah, Infinity Endeavour wasn't his favourite there. Had won the start before. I'm going back to Hot King Prawn's race to have a look at Dances with Dragon here. Was on debut. Used to be called Hall of Fame when he raced in New Zealand. Won the Levin Classic over a mile. Some interesting comments from Chris So saying that you've got to judge what you're seeing here in Hong Kong as opposed to what the races tell you in New Zealand, because it may well be, people will be talking about derbies for him, but it may well be that he's actually a sprinter rather than 2,000 metre horse. Bit of a bump there with Big Tight Baby. He's closed off really strongly. Be interesting to see where they go with him, but he's obviously 2,000 metres is a long way. It's double that.
Yeah, I think Connection would be pretty happy with what they saw.
All right, so we'll see where they go with him. That's Dances with Dragons from Saturday. Here, the suspensions and fines. Premium Champion and Dylan Moe picked up a couple of days. 1st to the 8th. Alexia Bedell on Tang Fleming as well. 13th and the 18th for him. And then going back to the the midweek, Matthew Poon on Kirov. A couple of days there. The 7th to 11th January, plus $25,000 as well.
Ouch.
All right, that brings you up to date, I think, with the happenings from the weekend as we launch into Wednesday night's programme at Happy Valley. 2 horses are withdrawn. Silver Spun out of race number 4. Lucky Lucky gets a start now. Alexi Bedell in the saddle there. And race number 7, Happy Life, now replaced by Red Rose Warrior. Nashra Willer in the saddle. So the 8-race programme, we are back on the A course here. And we kicked things off. We've got a couple of Class 5s in actual fact. The first one being over the 1,800 metres. Audacity runner-up over this trip at Sha Tin last time out behind Proud Sky. Rock the Tree, course and distance winner 2 starts back. My Gift was 3rd behind Rock the Tree. Regency Honey has some pace. Pearl Faroux, 1 start over this trip at the track. It was a win. Fun Manager goes up in trip all the way down to Happy Friendship there. Bit of a gear change. He was beaten favourite on the dirt last time out, John.
All Regency Honey's runs have been over 1,200 metres this season, and he goes up to 1,800 here in one fell swoop. So he'll get out of the gates and wonder why everybody else is going so slowly. So he'll find himself in front. Audacity was on the sharp end last time out, ran a really good race, as indeed did My Gift. So those two shouldn't be too far behind.
Yeah, Audacity is a winner in the class, John. Look at him working strongly here. This is on the back of that very good performance last start at Sha Tin. With the £7 claimer on Dylan Moe, Matthew Poon will ride the horse for the first time on Wednesday night for Peter Ho. He looks to have held that good form. Fun Manager, we've seen a lot of him this season. He is still a maiden from 22 starts, but Zach Purton's got the best tune out of him so far with a couple of placings. He gets another good barrier, continues to work well.
All right, OK, we'll come back to him in a second. We'll start off, though, at Chartin, and Audacity is a pretty tough ride. Dylan Lowe was on board on this occasion. Matthew Poon takes over Wednesday night. Ran second here, Spicy Double, spot behind him. Yep,
wasn't a great deal between the two, but obviously Spicy Double's drawn out in barrier number 12, John, so that's going to make it a little bit difficult for him. But I like the way Audacity stuck on. We know he's got some reasonable form at the Valley as well, so to see him do this at Chartin, you can see Spicy Double, looks like he's going to do him there, but he actually holds on for second. I thought the run was terrific.
Yeah, and he was never too far away from what was a pretty strong pace as well. So his best form so far has been at 2200, but 1800, a true run, 1800 back at the Valley, he should go well. All
right, Rock the Tree was a winner 2 starts back. So he's had a run on the all-weather since this. Was down the field behind Furious Pegasus. My Gift hits the front, but he's run down. Yeah, they really rattled along in this race, certainly in the middle part of the contest as well, which probably helped Rock the Tree, who was a real out-and-out closer. Hence, My Gift, I think, has run pretty well to still be there while the whips are cracking with sort of 50 metres to go. So I think both would have a pretty decent chance here. I've got My Gift in the numbers. Rock the Tree, not quite, but he could have been.
I got them both in. I think that form line might stand up in a race like this.
All right, one more to have a look at, and that's Pearl Faroux. I mentioned he's had 1 start over the 1800 metres here at Happy Valley. He won it. This is his lead-up run.
Yep, it is, and he just sort of kept grinding away. This is, of course, behind Glory Stay. You can see he's pulled the stick on him at this point, Sam Clippard, and he just sort of holds his ground, makes a little bit of an impression late. So getting up to the 1800, as you touched on, Andrew, is probably ideal for him. That horse that's charging into third there, Victory Follow Me, he came out and ran well on the dirt on the weekend, so that reads well, but he's one to include for sure.
Yep, gate 3 should position up well, so yep, he goes in for me.
All right, there you go. There's a first of the class 5s, Brett. Early favourite, Sweet Bean.
Yep, one for Joe Moreira, who, of course, will return to riding there on Wednesday night after a couple of meeting suspension. But I think it might be the old race 1, number 1 routine here in Audacity with the 7-pound claimer of Matthew Poon. I thought that terrific performance at Chartin should be rewarded with another victory. I know it doesn't work like that, but I think he should go pretty close. He'll box seat. He'll be very hard to stop. My Gift might be the danger, Sweet Bean and Rock the Tree. I'm happy to play race 1, number 1 straight out. And if you're getting odds like that, you can go as hard as you want each way.
Yep, I'm race 1, number 1 as well with Audacity for all the reasons that Brett gave earlier on. I got Pearl Faroux in there as well. He should position up well, and 1800 metres suits him. My Gift should go nicely too. And the one that I've sneaked in there at the expense of Sweet Bean, which might be a mistake, but Aguial down in this grade, hasn't been too long down in this grade again. Gate 1, I expect him to run a much better race under those conditions than he has been.
All right, he's about to turn 10 as well in a few days' time, Aguial, isn't he?
Yeah, I know, but I think he's still got it at this level.
Early birthday present for him. And that's the first event. Race number 2, Class 5 once more. We drop back to the 1200 metres.